Good morning and welcome to In the News with myself, Savvy Sapphire. Welcome to the 18th of October News Week, where I bring you all the latest industry news in the property space and anything related to the property space. We have some really good news items today, and I'd just like to make sure that when I see your comments, I know who has commented or is watching this. So don't forget to leave your name so I can say good morning to you all. I hope you all had a lovely weekend. We went down, I took group of members down to the property show this weekend at the Excel Centre, which was fantastic. We saw some great speakers. The auction house EIG was there, and we went to their seminar, their Q&A, which was fantastic. Lots of people asking lots of questions, and it was fun as well. We walked around the exhibition, learning about different people doing different things in a property space, which was really good. So if you've seen any exhibitions coming up or want to go, definitely do that. We have the landlord property show coming up on the 26th. Please do get your tickets and attend. These shows are really good to highlight if you're getting into investment or you're already in it, what is currently happening in this space. And you don't want to miss anything that is current and that's happening in the space so that you can be informed and keep up to date with what's going on in the property space. So let's start this news feed today. Um, the first one we want to start with is about agencies. Agency groups say talented women lost to industry due to menopause. Now, I'm a woman currently going through that myself, so I understand. But because I work for myself, have my own business, I'm not facing what most women have been facing. The Women in Property group claims that talented females are being lost to the industry due to menopause. It says panic attacks, tinnitus, mood swings, brain fog, and extreme pain are some of the many symptoms that can be make it near impossible for women to continue working with menopause when menopause strikes. For many, this costs them their confidence and careers, and for some, despair associated with menopause can lead to suicide. Wimp says this is preventable but frequently exacerbated by distinct lack of information or even misdiagnosis. The group's comments come following a tribunal finding in favor of Alison Thompson, recently awarded 180,000 by compensation panel following her victory in a sex discrimination case against her former employer, the London agency Manor. Emma Fergus, chair of Women in Residential Property, says in the wake of Alice Thompson's win in her case, it is clear that there are tides of change across the industry, but more work definitely needs to be done to make sure that all women, whatever their age and circumstances, get the support, the flexibility, and the opportunity they need to continue working in the property industry. Now, I'm here talking about the property news, but this is across all sectors, all businesses, because women are in every industry. So therefore, employers need to recognize that women will be going through certain things at certain times and make sure that they've got the provision in place to support women going through this. It's not necessary that women just want to go off and be sick. Our bodies does not allow us to do anything else. It says in a world where periods are taught at school and there are midwives on hand to support women as they become parents, it's madness that there is very little support for women going through menopause. It's never been more important to give businesses the tools they need to be able to support and confidently signpost their colleagues to the right resources. It also says how it should be supported like any other long-term mental and or physical health conditions. How businesses can stand to benefit from putting their resources into support and how early and correct diagnosis to help worse affected women get the right treatment sooner. Launched in 2017, aims to improve collaborations across residential property industries, ensuring that women working in this sector can establish and maintain their professional support network. The network is designed to appeal to women in agency, surveying, and mortgage lending. So, what do you think about this? Do you really think that women need the support? Hi, Buddy. I've got Buddy Hot Wax on here. Thank you very much. I'm not sure what your actual name is, but Buddy, thank you very much for stopping by and saying hello. So, what do you think about this? Do you really think that women need this support? I mean, me for one, as I said, I'm a woman, so definitely I think it needs to really come into play to support women. It's not something to be swept under the carpet. We give birth to young girls every day, so therefore, as they get older, as they're going to need the support, and if we can start that from now, at least the generations to come will have the benefits of the hard work that we put in. I speak about menopause very openly because I think it's something that needs to be spoken about very openly. It's not something to be shied away from. And there is a lot of women that feel embarrassed by it and unable to explain. And there is a lot of doctors as well that is ill-equipped to actually deal with it. They're not understanding what women actually go through. And so women out there trying to find out how to really support women that are in business or employment to try and get them through an everyday task. So well done to the property group that is really supporting and championing this in the menopause space. In avenues, new property tax, government releases draft legislation. The government has released details of new property tax. It's the residential property development tax, first announced at the start of the summer as a way of funding remediation on properties with dangerous cladding. However, the government's announcement over the weekend fails to say that the rate of tax will be, and this is expected to be revealed at the budget in just over 2 weeks' time. In the meantime, the government says it's aimed to make the larger developers make a fair contribution to help fund the government's cladding remediation costs. This is what we know so far. The tax will be applied from April 1st, 2022 to most new developments, regardless of whether they have relevant cladding on their properties. The new tax will be levied on developers who are already paying corporation tax and will apply to developments that are predominantly residential in nature. The government says it aims to raise 2 billion through this tax by the end of this decade, expected to apply to convert properties. So, for example, an office block converted to residential. The value of gardens and grounds will also be considered with evaluating the new tax of the overall development. What do you think about this new tax levy on developers for cladding? Do you think it's fair that they should have share of cost? Please feel free to comment, share your thoughts, and I will read them out most definitely. In avenues, agencies, best and final offers do massive disservice to sellers, claims. Have you ever been in a situation where you're looking at to buy a property and being told there's other people that are looking on it, please put your last bids in sealed envelopes and last best final offer? Have you been in that situation? Well, I have several times. So this kind of pricked my interest when I came across it. Best and final offers should be scrapped, agreed. And a property expert claimed that would be good because they do a massive disservice to vendors. Jeremy Pryor, managing director of Auction House, says these offers, also known as seal bids, really achieve the best price for the sellers. The simple truth is that seal bids do a massive disservice to the seller by failing to achieve what could be raised in the competitive environment or of an auction room, he contends. Random single offers in envelopes are rarely likely to reach the heights of figures obtained in an open and transparent bidding process, where a talented auctioneer can ensure that the best price for the property can be achieved. Not only that, unless you're buying in Scotland, seal bids are not legally binding and either party can pull out of the deal at any time. It says, by contrast, when the hammer falls in an auction room, it represents a binding exchange of contracts between the two parties. So if the seller's thinking about using a best and final offer option with an estate agent, I advise is to consider auctions instead. Pryor claims that auctions are gaining popularity and following the route of other nations where homes under the hammer are more commonplace. It looks like an English property market is starting to catch up with the Australian one, where the majority of properties are sold by auction. Before that happened, it seems clear and canny vendors will wish for their properties to be sold by auction instead of best price, best and final. Um, they said they hope that it will just be done away with. Auction houses is really a place to go and put your property because you will get the price that you want and you can leave a reserve on it. Auction House says enjoy its high September total of 85,586,151, as well as recording the best share for the total raised during the first 3 quarters of 449,733,079. Priory continues, there's no doubt that for the first time in the group's 14-year history, we're going to hit a £500 million milestone by the end of the year. This is accompanied by a sharp increase in the average price for sales, which have jumped by more than a third from 126,558,000 over the past 5 years to 170,353. What do you think about that? Do you think the best way to sell a property now is through an auction, or do you think selling it through private treaty through estate agents is still the way to go? Please share your comments. I would love to hear them. I think selling through an auction is really good because you can set a reserve price, as I said, and knowing that you're going to get your property exchange on the day is even better because you know once that hammer goes down, that property is sold. With an estate agent, as I've just read, when you do best and final offer, it's not necessary that the person is going to go ahead with the transaction. They can actually pull out at any time, which is unfair to the vendor because then they'll have to go back into the best and finals and find if anyone else wants to take up the offer again. And it's not necessary that you're going to get what you want either. In avenues, housing market to stay strong in 2022 buoyant, says Halifax. House prices rose by most in almost 15 years in September, ahead end of the stamp duty holiday. The Halifax says it rose by 1.7% from August, the biggest monthly rise since February 2007. In annual terms, house price growth also accelerated to 7.4 from 7.2%. Russell, Halifax Managing Director, says the price of an average house is now as expensive as it has ever been, standing at just 267,500. While the end of the stamp duty holiday in England and a desire amongst homebuyers to close deals at speed, many have played some part in these figures actually going up. It is important to remember that most mortgages agreed in September would not have completed before the tax break expired. This shows that multiple factors have played in a significant role in house price developments during the pandemic. The race for space, as people exchanged their preference and lifestyle choices, undoubtedly had a major impact. Looking at price change over the past year, prices for flats up just 6.1% compared to 8.9% for semi-detached properties and 8.8% for detached. This translates into cash increases for detached properties for nearly 41,000 compared to just 6,400 for flats. So what do you think about that? Do you think that this race has stopped and it's slowed down the market? Do you think it will still continue the way it's been going? Are you going to continue to hear all of the things that, people rushing and paying silly prices for properties that wouldn't even value up at that a couple of years ago? What do you think about that? I really would like to hear. In Avenues revealed the deadline for marketing a home and being in for Christmas. Now, people don't think that there is a deadline for marketing a home. A lot of people assume that they could put their market on put their property on the market anytime through the year and it's going to sell. But in this report, it says we're not sure if agency will agree, this report has said, with some, but high-profile consumer groups have come up with the final date that it believes a home can be marketed in time for the vendor to be in their new property by Christmas. Homeowners Alliance says a vendor must list their property by October the 20th, that's by Wednesday, at the latest. The group agency's comparison service, estate agent for me service, suggests properties listed in October take an average of 64 days to sell. There are scarily typical times by the HOA says that on average since 2015, properties in the UK have stayed on the market for 58 to 73 days. That despite the uncertainty caused by the pandemic, the data shows the average length of time to sell a property has remained relatively consistent over the past 6 years. Overall, the speed of the sales was slowest last year. Obviously, that was because of the lockdown, and part of the lockdown between April and July. But the speed of sale accelerated towards the end of 2020 once the housing market reopened and the time limited stamp duty was introduced. Commenting on the data, Homeowners Alliance Chief Executive Paula Hickson says 2021 has been a chaotic year for buying and selling. The rush to buy before the end of stamp duty holiday deadline in June also slowed down the home buying process. Thankfully, this autumn will see things return to normal for home movers. Looking back on the last 6 years' data, we can see that if you sell your home by Christmas, then you need to go on before the 20th of October. Do you agree with that statement? Do you think that you need to sell, you need to put your property on the market, or the transactions need to happen before this month, October, which is on Wednesday? They're saying Wednesday the 20th is the latest date to market your property so that you can be in a new home. I kind of agree with this because the market does slow down. No one really wants to spend big amounts of money just before the holidays as well. So that could be one of the things why I'm marketing now. So that it's like in October and November. But if you go anywhere near December, it's no point. People don't want a disruption of people coming in to view their properties, and people don't want to be moving then either because it's over the holiday times, and that's what people want to just feel settled and not feel that they're moving about over the Christmas period. Share your comments in the feed. I'd love to see what your opinions is on this. In Avenues, mortgage roundups, outstanding products for lenders and consumers. The Mortgage Roundup column returns to bring you the latest news on mortgage products coming onto the market, featuring Furnace Building Society and Vernon Building Society. First of all, Furnace outstanding products and / rates. Furnace Building Society has received an outstanding rate from Moneyfacts after making reductions to a number of its residential fixed and discount products. Following its new 2-year 80% fixed rate, Moneyfacts said The 2-year fixed rate at 80% loan to value has received the most modest cut of 0.07% and is now priced at 1.37%. The fee is described as reasonable at $999 and has an incentives package on offering for both home purchase and remortgage. A $250 cashback is also included, making the deal an excellent option overall. The lender has also reduced its fixed rate holidays let products, which is available across England, Scotland, and Wales, and the Isle of Skye. For clients with a case up to 65% loan to value, there is a 2-year option of 3.39% and a 5-year option of 3.59%. For clients with higher loan to values, there is a 3.69 2-year and a 3.99 5-year option available up to 75% loan to value. Each of the products carry a $995 fee, which can be added to the loan and paid off upfront. For remortgages, Furness offers a free standard valuation and free legal, although in Scotland this adjusted to £150 contribution towards legal fees. Furness has also adopted a flexible approach to lending, including both gross holiday rental income as well as personal income when calculating affordability. Personal use of property is allowed up to 90 days a year, which is good. And also, in Vernon boosts buy-to-let range with new products. Vernon Building Society has launched a 5-year buy-to-let mortgages to complement its existing range of landlord products. The lender has a wide range of options for landlords, including those who operate under a limited company structure and landlords who own their properties on a personal basis. The new products include a 5-year discount rate at 2.49% up to 75% loan to value with a fee of $1,499. They have a 2-year discount rate at 2.99 up to 75% loan to value with a fee of $999. A 3-year discount rate at 3.29% up to 75% loan to value with a fee of $999, available both for individuals and limited company landlords. A limited company landlord 5-year discount rate at 2.49% up to 75% loan to value with a fee rate of $1,499. A limited company 2-year discount rate at 2.99% up to 75% loan to value with a fee of $999. The lender has also enhanced its criteria, allowing to support more landlords. It now lends to landlords with no minimum income. I repeat that. It now lends to landlords with no minimum income and has extended its maximum age at the end of its term to 80. The buy-to-let mortgages has also now available for non-owner occupiers, first-time landlords and first-time buyers on individual and limited company basis. This is good news because most first-time buyers could not, some lenders were not allowing them to buy an investment property before there was actually a residential home owner. So on company basis, as well as let to buy applications. In addition to the new products, the lender offers a range of holiday let buy to let mortgages. So it's good news all round. And if you're looking to get into investment, always get a broker to see what is available to you in a side of finance, because you never know, you could get finance now if you're new to the market. In avenues, tax a clampdown on landlords planning for the new year. If you let out a holiday property or have switched to Airbnb or similar platforms, tax inspectors may be coming for you. Accountancy firm UHY Hacker Youngs says HMRC is plotting a New Year clampdown on owners of holiday lets if they are suspected of failing the property to properly report earnings from the staycation boom of the last 2 years. HMRC has the power to request information or documents from third parties, such as holiday booking sites, for the purpose of checking the taxpayer's tax position. This includes entire databases of popular holiday booking sites. Airbnb has previously agreed to share information on income earned by its UK host as part of the 2020 tax settlement to HM Treasury. As part of the deal, the company agreed to pay an extra 1.8 million in tax and share data on host incomes with HMRC. The firm says owners of holiday flats and cottages will be filing their self-assessment tax returns that cover the first year of the COVID staycation boom and may be tempted to underreport windfall earnings. HMRC will be checking the tax returns from people who have let property for a jump in declaring income to reflect the staycation boom. The algorithms will fairly easily identify those holiday homers who think they are under declaring. As HMRC let property campaign targeting buy-to-let landlords shows, the Treasury sees landlords as an obvious target for tax investigations and extra tax revenue. Landlords are recommended to make sure they are aware of their tax obligation before spending their summer staycation windfall. Landlords who fail to declare unpaid tax are utterly risking fines and criminal prosecution. Now, yes, we have seen a massive boom in the staycation market, and it's brilliant that people have been able to rent out their properties, but you have to make sure you pay your taxes. The last thing you want to do is to have earned a good few thousands of pounds and just trying to skip out on paying what the taxes that is due on that. It is not worth it. You'll end up with a criminal record. You could lose your properties because of it. And any money that you've made, they could actually seize those assets as well. Check with an accountant. Always go get some legal advice and check to make sure that you're compliant and your taxes are paid. Do not try to skip out on it, and make sure that you are well informed before even getting into rental properties or anything like that. What's going to be your tax liabilities? So in avenues, council using covert cameras to spy on landlords when tenants leaves. Now, when I came across this report, I thought, what are they doing now? I mean, don't we have enough cameras in the UK spying on us? If we're doing speed cameras, if we go around a corner, there's cameras everywhere in London. I think we're one of the highest countries with cameras on our streets. And if I'm not, yes, we are. I think we are in the record books for the most cameras in the world, that we just have cameras everywhere. We love our cameras, and now councils are really cashing in on this. A local authority admits using covert cameras to spot landlords illegally fly tipping. Now, I don't believe in fly tipping. Now, there is rubbish dumps. Just pay for it and put your rubbish in there instead of on our streets. I agree with that. I don't necessarily agree with, naming and shaming or anything like in regards to cameras, because it could affect somebody else, and you shouldn't be doing covert cameras because you've not got permission from the general public. Anyway, that's my opinion. Darlington Council claims that there have been several incidents reported in the recent weeks in which previous tenants' furniture and other items have been dumped to the rear of the properties or taken away and fly tipped elsewhere. Councillor Jonathan, Darlington Council Deputy Leader, says, while we appreciate most landlords do the right thing, there are a small minority who are behaving completely irresponsible, and this is not acceptable. Our street scene staff are working hard to keep the borough's back lanes and streets clear of litter and rubbish. And it's our civic enforcement officers are carrying out an investigation to track down those who are responsible. We also are making use of this new overt technology, including cameras, and are warning landlords that we take a very dim view on such activities and they will take action. When they are caught, they will face high unlimited fines or even a term of imprisonment and at very least 400 fixed penalty notice as well. He goes on to say, we are keen to work with residents and landlords to tackle fly tipping to improve the quality of life for all those who live and work there. So if you're a landlord or a resident and need to get rid of your items, they said they urge you to take them to the tip. Book one of our bulky collections, waste collections, or perhaps donate to charity. However, if you decide to just use a private waste contractor, definitely make sure that they are genuine. They should always have a license and should be able to show you that as proof that they do have it. I've always said, take a picture. If someone's come around just off the street and says, oh, I can move your rubbish for 20 quid, that is a red flag in itself. That's telling me that they don't have a license and they are going to dump it on the roadside. And it's always best to just book a bulky waste or get somebody that you know is reputable that can remove your waste. It's never good to just dump waste on the street anyway. It just pollutes our areas. In avenues, staycation yield boom is likely to stay up to 2 years forecast. Fabric Invest, which works with holiday parks across the UK, says staycation boom is here to stay despite the easing of travel restrictions. The longer term nature of travel restrictions means a staycation boom not just for this summer, but is likely for the next year to 2 years and potentially as they claim. Even once restrictions are lifted, we anticipate many families will still feel reluctant even to fly, and so will look to take breaks in the UK. Add to those who choose to not fly for environmental reasons, and for those who can't or won't have the COVID-19 vaccine, and so probably won't be able to fly, and the long-term prospects for holiday lets market here in the UK looks very healthy indeed. Research by Mentel, this is a research platform, has given an insight into how lucrative this market is now by holidaymakers in the UK spent in 2021. It is estimated to be a sum of 7.1 billion, up by 22% in 2019. Anderson says investors in holiday chalets can take advantage of better tax breaks than traditional buy-to-let owners, and even suggests that the increase of working from home may trigger increase in corporate using holiday parks for long-term likes of team building exercises. The current staycation boom has served to focus their attention on this type of investment and is an advantage. What do you think about that? Do you think that the new boom in staycations is here to stay? I think it is here to stay. I think a lot of people have no real desire to travel abroad anymore. They may want to go, but they just feel until things get back to some normality, which is suggesting that we are in our own new normal. So, there's going to be restrictions. We don't know when they're all going to be lifted. We don't know when, if there's going to be any restrictions on people that hasn't had the vaccine. We don't know all of these things as yet. And until we do, people are looking to stay at home. So they want the best places to go just to have a break and explore England. I mean, there's places that I haven't been in the UK, and I was born here. So it'd be nice to sort of travel around my own country to see what other places I can discover within the UK. Good morning, Charmaine. Lovely to have you here. So in avenues, why landlords shouldn't use credit cards to pay for refurbs. Hmm. Around 20% of landlords surveyed by the bank use a credit card or short-term finance to fund a recent refurbishment. The research found that close to two-thirds of landlords have undertaken a refurbishment to one of their rental properties in the last 12 months, with 80% renovating more than one property. Landlords also use their finance to pay for renovation to their rental properties, with 60% utilizing personal savings or investments and 12% using a recent inheritance or windfall. A further 12% used a second charge mortgage. Overall, landlords on average are spending 13,000 on renovation projects over the last year, with portfolio landlords with four or more properties in all, spending 17,000. Popular works include repainting 37%, fitting new carpets or flooring 28%, putting in a new kitchen and bathroom 27%. However, some landlords also undertook bigger projects such as a kitchen extension, and that sum was 14%, a loft conversion, 10% people landlords done this, or building a home office, 8%. That must be popular now, to capitalize on the demand for more space for home working. With more landlords experiencing a gap between tenancy, taking the opportunity to refurbish allowed them to improve the property without causing disruption. Some 14% of landlords said they chose to renovate because they had extended void. Shawbrook Managing Director John Eastgate says, ensuring that your properties are up to a good standard and meet the current demands of tenants is a mark of responsible landlords. However, it is important that landlords are not putting themselves at financial risk in order to undertake work. Unsecured short-term finance products like credit cards can come with high interest rates, which can leave landlords with a substantial debt. There are other finance options available to landlords, which can often be less well known, but a suitable alternative to short-term credit or using personal savings. For example, a second charge mortgage can be a good option for landlords looking to refurbish. We've encouraged any landlord to consider renovation to speak to their broker about options before putting it on their credit card. Renovating your property can help attract more tenants, secure higher rents, and boost the value of your property. But don't do this at the expense of your financial security. I would agree with this report. I mean, don't put it on your credit card if you can't afford to pay it off. It doesn't make sense to do that. But however, using a credit card, if you know you've got the money in your bank already and you want to spend on that credit card and you know you can pay off from the money that you do have, then use the credit card to boost your credit rating. I'm going to be doing a workshop based on how to repair your credit score and boost your credit rating. So I will put that out on our events. So look out for that event. In avenues, and good morning, Maureen, before I move on. Lovely to have you here. In avenues, new investment league tables ringing endorsements to the city to buy to let. A new league table of investment potentials has been given a ringing endorsement buy to let in the cities. Selected Property Group has looked at areas at high projected gross value added and ranks their investment potential across the two criteria, including rental growth, unemployment, number of startups, and property capital values. Southampton takes up the top spot of this list of 20 locations, which also includes major cities such as Manchester, Outer London, and Liverpool, along with some smaller cities like Bradford and Exeter. Select Property ranks Southampton top of the chart thanks to a steadily growing employment rate and robust business scene. SPG says the list shows that urban areas continue representing hugely lucrative opportunities for rental investors. As the UK economy bounces back after the pandemic, investing in areas that have scope to grow in terms of the population, employment, and the GVA will be a key for securing the best ROI, return on investment. Cities with excellent commuter links outside of London or those with the growing digital industries like Manchester will also be attracted to renters, meaning property investors can still find excellent value opportunities in these areas. I have a list of these areas if anybody's interested. As I said, Southampton is the top, Manchester, Outer London, Birmingham, Portsmouth, Liverpool, York, Oxford, Norwich, Exeter, Coventry, Newcastle, Peterborough, Plymouth, Stoke, Sheffield, Derby, Bradford, Wakefield, and Hull are all the top 20 cities to start looking if you want to invest in. Okay. So that brings us to the end of our In the News with myself, Savvy Sapphire. If you would like to, good morning. Maureen says Maureen says auctions provide more info, legal reports. This is an advantage. That's absolutely right, Maureen. Yes, I agree with. Is more to explore in the UK. There is definitely more to explore in the UK and get around. So if you said that you couldn't get out for a holiday, you can still do that. Even a nice little winter one in the UK. Yes, we are already in the cold, and some of us like the heat, but it's still nice to go to a nice cozy cottage or somewhere and support another business by staying there or going for a nice spa weekend. That's always a nice way to go. If you have any comments or would like to attend any of our workshops, feel free to reach out to us. Our number is at the bottom, contact details at the bottom, so reach out to us. We like to bring you all different industry news each week with different topics and different things. So if you've got something that you'd love to share or even pop on a live with me, I'd love to have you here and sharing your comments and your views. I want you all to have a wonderful day and a blessed week. And look forward to sharing more in the news with you next week. But don't forget to go onto our social media. Don't forget to share, like, and view. And if you're on a replay on this, please type #replay. Willing to answer your questions. Feel free to answer. I will be free to answer any of your questions. If you enjoyed today, please don't forget to share with your friends and invite them to come along 8 a.m. every Monday for In the News with Savvy Sapphire. Have a lovely day and a lovely week. Speak to you all soon.